British left-wing political activist, founding member and convener of the British anti-war organization Stop the War Coalition, Lindsey German. Thanks for joining us today.
Good to join you, Erem. Nice to see you.
Thank you. So, as you know, the elections are coming in Turkey on May 14. It's the presidential and parliamentary elections in Turkey. How do you evaluate the practice of the current Erdogan and AKP government, first of all?
Well, I think the government has been a very repressive government. It's a government which has been repressing the Kurds and other minorities for a long, long time. It's a government which is involved in NATO and therefore is involved in an aggressive foreign policy. It's a government which is paid by the European Union to keep refugees out of the European Union, and it plays a bad role in that. And of course, it attacks all sorts of different groups of people over human rights, over civil rights, trade union rights. And we really need an alternative in Turkey in the coming election.
Thank you. Also, another question is basically due to the risk of the HDP being shut down, it enters the elections with the Green Left Party, as you know. So, in this situation, do you think that Turkey's 2023 elections will be held in a democratic environment? And also, the elements that you count on the first question as well. Do you think Turkey has a democratic atmosphere now to have elections?
I think that the situation there must be very difficult because the level of repression and of the nature of the repression. And one of the basic democratic rights should be that any party should be able to stand in elections, should be able to have the full democratic ability to get its arguments across, and the voters should be able to decide who they want to vote for. And it seems to me that isn't what's happening in Turkey, and that's something that internationally we should demand, and we should support the right of the HDP and other parties to be able to stand, even if they're opposed by the government. Indeed, you could say especially if they're opposed by the government.
Thank you, dear Lindsay. Also, how important is the success of the Green Left Party, which has the support of HDP and the Kurdish people in Turkey as well as in Europe as well? Do you think it's critical that Green Left Party has success to join the parliament in Turkey?
I hope that the Green Left Party does very well, because I think for those of us outside of Turkey, for those of us internationally who've tried to show solidarity to the Kurdish people and to the Turkish people and have witnessed the terrible consequences of the earthquake recently and all the other things that people are facing, I think to have a left party, to have a party which talks about the environment, which talks about all these different issues, to do well in the parliamentary elections would be a fantastic step forward. So I hope very much that it does do well, and send my solidarity and best wishes.
Dear Lindsey German, British left-wing political activist, founding member of the anti-war organization Stop the War Coalition. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your valuable comments today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Lindsay. Deputy Convenor of the UNISON Scotland Stephen Smellie. Thanks for joining us today.
Pleased to be here, Erem. Nice to see you.
Thank you. So, as you know, the elections are coming on Turkey, the 2023 elections on May 14. There are presidential and parliamentary elections as well in Turkey. How do you evaluate the practice of the current Erdogan and AKP government?
I think Erdogan and the AKP government has been a disaster for Turkey. The economy is in crisis. They are engaged in military adventures in Iraq and Syria and elsewhere. They've antagonised the European allies, and they continue to limit democracy within their own countries. So I think for most people, most progressive people, the elections can't come soon enough to try and give them people in Turkey an opportunity to elect a new government that will actually work towards increasing democracy, human rights, peace, and getting people to address the cost of living crisis that's affecting everyone.
What is your message of support to HDP and the Green Left Party?
My message of support is that the world is looking at you. The world is looking at Turkey, and the progressive forces in the world is looking to the HDP and the Green Left as the way forward for Turkey. So we would hope that you have every success, that your candidates are free to put forward their ideas, and we wish you as many successes in the election as possible. That is the future has to be the future for Turkey. Proper democratic processes, electing progressive people. So we wish them every luck and every success.
Thank you. Also, once we find you, I would like to ask you that as well, very lastly and shortly. If you can evaluate the situation about Mr. Öcalan as well, as the elections are coming, still nothing has been heard from him last 2 years nearly now. And so the harsh isolation still continues. So what is your call? What is your message for Abdullah Öcalan human rights as well? Do you think these elections will change something in that case too?
The elections in themselves won't change anything. If the issue of Öcalan and the isolation of Kurdish people and other minorities within Turkey continues and isn't addressed by whoever wins the elections, then the problems of Turkey will not be addressed. You cannot deal with the problems of Turkey without addressing fundamentally the issues of human rights, of democracy, of the rights of minorities, of the Kurdish question, if you can't address the issue of Öcalan. So Öcalan remains central to a peaceful future for Turkey, and that can't be ignored. So whoever wins the election will come up against these perennial problems of how do you become a united country if you oppress large sections and isolate the leaders of that community.
Deputy Convenor of UNISON Scotland Stephen Smellie, thanks for joining us, and thank you for your valuable comments today.
No problem. Thank you very much.